Swedish state TV, SVT, has refused to air a documentary about anti-Semitism among Muslims called Watching the Moon at Night. The documentary has been shown in between 10 and 12 countries and at numerous film festivals. However, 2 Swedish film festivals excluded the film from their program. The film was made in 2014 and was screened in the Swedish Parliament in January 2015. The director, Bo Persson, discusses his film with Eve Harrow from the YouTube channel The Land of Israel in November 2017, during Persson's visit to Israel for screenings of the film. In the film, historians and philosophers are being interviewed, as well as moderate Muslims and victims of terrorism from Algeria, Spain, France, Moscow, Israel, New York, Colombia, Munich, Northern Ireland, and elsewhere. According to Persson, the voices of the victims of terrorism are not heard in the public debate. Western media writes about terrorist attacks and report on videos, for example by bin Laden, but do not give a voice to the victims. With his film, Persson wanted to give the victims a platform, but also to reform Muslims. These, he said, are the heroes of our time, and they don't get the attention they deserve. On the question why Swedish state television refused to show the film, Persson answers that he thinks it was because of the interviews with Israeli victims. According to the heads of SVT, there are no legitimate Israeli victims of terrorism. Another reason may have been that there are no interviews with the terrorists themselves. According to Marianne Arne, a former film consultant at the Swedish Film Institute who initially approved public funding for the documentary, after the funding was approved, the documentary was made subject to a list of conditions. SVT submitted one formal obstacle after another. Persson has accused SVT project manager Lars Sävström of demanding the film to be more anti-American and anti-Israel, thus trying to influence the film's content. In December 2015, a handbook was leaked in which SVT journalists were told to call immigrants people on the run, and one of their employees had been arrested for smuggling a migrant into Sweden. Around 1,500 people in Sweden have protested against SVT refusing to air the film, including some of the most well-known journalists in Sweden and some famous writers, and have called SVT's behavior censorship. The SVT rejecting to air the documentary is an example of leftist anti-Semitism, because the reason is almost certainly enmity towards Israel, although Israeli victims were just some of the victims interviewed in the film. Persson has suggested to the Swedish Parliament to invite reform Muslims who criticize radical Islam to lecture in the Swedish Parliament, but so far the Parliament has not reacted to this, although reform Muslims are risking their lives to combat violence against innocents. I guess it would be racist to invite them and let them speak.